That's the 3 diameters down to size. There's a little bit of work left to do on this end. It needs shortening, some threads putting on and the keyway putting in. This one's cutting to length, so I'm going to part this off to length first and then hold that in the collar chuck to finish the machining off on there. When you get the parting tool set up nice and square, do the workpiece is probably the most important thing with parting off. The next video is going to be all about parting off in the lathe, not just using the tool like this but also using a conventional high-speed steel tool. That tip's 2mm thick and it's touching on the end of the job like that, just touching. So I add 2mm to whatever size we want and that gives us the correct length. The old 50.5 then we can turn it on and face it. There actually 1/2 mm to come off there. We need to part that off there. Keep a nice steady pressure on it. Take this off and put the collar chuck on. I'm using the collar chuck because it'll grip on that machine face without damaging it. This chuck does run nice and true. So this one's cutting off the length, some threads putting in, and then a little 3mm keyway machine into there. That's where the gear slides on like that. And it was held on with a little circlip on his. I'm going to put a nut on, a lot more secure. Never forget to put your board in when you're using a hacksaw. A little lead for the die to start on now. It's only a short thread we're doing, so I'm just going to put the thread on the die nut. It's not worth screw cutting for what it is. Just use a tail start to keep it nice and square, and a spanner to fit that. I'll just do it by hand. This is a fairly new die nut, a Dormer one, a really good one, and it should put threads on here, no problem at all. I have got a mark on the shaft. It shows where the end of the thread should be. Just about there. Next thread. There's a little tiny rag on there, we have to take that off. Now we're cutting the machine in the little 3mm keyway, which is probably going to be the most difficult part. I don't know what the life expectancy of a 3mm milling cutter is, but it'll not be very large, especially in here. Collar block to hold everything nice and square and secure, in the same collar that we used in the lathe. The first thing we need to do is find the centre line of the bar and lock the y-axis off at that. And then the next thing we need to do is find the 3mm milling cutter. I'm sure I've got a one. But we'll find the centre of that first, and then so we can get this keyway cut. And then that's the job more or less done. Right, so the first thing we need to do is find one edge. Once this kicks off, like that, zero the y-axis, take a look at the other side, same again, once it kicks off, right on the edge then, just touching, there, so if we half the y-axis, which is quite easy to do on this DRO, bring that back to zero. Right. And that now is dead centre on the part, so I can lock the y-axis off, change this for a milling chuck, collar chuck, and then we'll have a go. Right, so that is a 3mm cutter. It's a carbide cutter, bang good one. I did a review on these quite some time ago, and they've actually stood the test of time. They've done alright. I'm going to run this machine as fast as it'll go, which I think is 2800, and I've got the safety mask on because I'm expecting this to shatter. Right, we touch it off. Very, very gently. just about there. Well, that went quite well, really. A little key resupplied, which is a reasonable fit in there, I suppose. And the gear goes on, and then the nut in the washer, which is my little modification. It's had a little groove on the end, which was so this must be what drives the headstock on the mini lathe, and he's putting a 240 volt motor on because all the control gear doesn't work. So that's going to go on there, and that's going to have that by the ball, so to speak, and I'm quite happy with that. Got an electrician's order this time for a German wire head pointer and that pointer dog. Quite a big one, a little bit bigger than the last one I cut. Once again, it's in 3mm stainless steel. These are footrests or foot pegs off the cab on a Sentinel steam wagon. The bit you climb onto to get in. And you can see that amount of wear is colossal. They're actually original items. These are going to be at least 80-year old, 70 to 80-year old. And you can see what's happened. The lug's broken off that one and that one's all badly cracked. What I want to do is build that up with aluminium, try and repair them. I don't know if this will weld. They feel quite heavy. It's possibly what they call pot metal, which has got a fair bit of zinc in. In that case it won't weld. There's only one way to find out, and that's to have a go at welding it really. So I'm going to cut this back, remove a lot of this badly corroded material. I'll do this one first because that's the worst one. Remove some of this corroded material and give it a go at welding and see what happens. Right, I've formed a manner of attack, I suppose. What I'm going to do is drill 2 holes in here, one through there, and fasten a plate on using these little countersunk Allen bolts, and then re-drill the 2 holes, 2 centres, grind the plate to be the same size as that, and that's going to help support it. They've been like this for quite some time, but we don't want them snapping off, and I think that those 2 bolts through there on a piece of probably 3 or 4mm plate, it'll give it enough strength. I can put a longer bolt in there to really get some strength into it. I've got it set up as square as I can get it, so we'll drill the 2 holes, put some threads in it and go from there. Right, I've got it set up and the drill's going to be in there. It's in the real thick part of it, in the heart of it. So we'll have a hole in there first. It's definitely what they call pot metal, as I've worked with before. It's it's soft, it's like it's got lead in it, it doesn't weld, I know that much, I've tried before. I wanted to weld a manifold a while ago made of this stuff after a lot of struggling. That's a 5mm drill, that's the tapping drill for standard M6. $20mm should be enough. I don't want to. I'll do 25. Right. I'll finish it off to full depth by hand because the last thing I want to do is snap that bastard off in the hole. Right, it's one done. I found a bit of nice 4mm plate of a cutout of the plasma table, and I've drilled and countersunk the 2 holes, and that's screwed on there, and that bolt is into there all the way down to there, so it's obviously going to be fairly secure. Next thing to do is pick these 2 holes up, drill the 2 holes, and then cut the shape out. I can't think of another way of repairing this. This is the best one of the 2 to pick the centres up on. Transfer punch just to put a nice little pot mark in there. Same with this one. These hole centres will be the same on both of them, I would imagine. Right, so now drill those out and then cut the shape out. I'm just leaving it this size because I can hold it with the mould grips while I'm working with it. I've purposely chose a drill that's not very sharp to do this, because we don't want any snatches. You end up with a square hole if you're not careful. Right, so that's not too bad. The plate is now bolted in place or screwed in place. I put some Loctite on them, and I've had to go with the angle grinder, and I've got it somewhere near. Now it's time to finish it off with a file. I'm also going to machine a steel piece to go in there, and I'll weld it around there, just so that when that puts a washer on there and bolts down, it's actually supported on there, and that one's going to support right through. And I think that's going to do the job for them quite nicely. So now it's just a bit of work with a manual milling machine, often termed a file, just to get this to the shape I wanted. too bad. So I'll drill that out and then part the piece off the right thickness and then just cut a section out of it, weld round there. Yes, that's the plan anyway. And it was an 11/16 spool. It's going to work out not too bad. A little bit of fail work, but it should be alright. Right, much better. Across there. This side is across there. I could put that in the milling machine and mill it off. I'm just going to use the hacksaw, I think. I think it does you good now and then to use hand tools and you appreciate what you've got. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's welded in on the bottom there. All it's got to do is keep it in place, and as I wash on the bolt pull, so there, a little bit more blending work with the file and it'll be good to go. This one's the same. I've done a bit more welding, a bit more build up on it. Put a whole corner in. It'll want a little bit of dress up with a round file to make sure the bolt goes in, but I don't think it's gonna fall off. Once again, it's just time to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We are getting near to the magical 100,000. I'm not sure what will happen to us then, but I would like to get there. Anyway, thanks for watching.